Hello, Ghost Hunters! This week we saw the early release of a game called Ghost Hunters Corp. Here's my thought on the game and if it's worth buying. Before I get into all the nitty-gritty details of this game and its release, I'd like to say that I've played my fair share of early release games. Most of the time, players go into these early releases knowing that there will be some bugs, and there will certainly be future changes. And I have to remind myself that that is true for this game as well. For the most part, early release games include a fully functioning game, with all the promised parts included. Having said that, this is not what I felt Ghost Hunter Corp was. This game felt like a very early alpha release, with some moving parts, but lots of under construction signs. I don't want this video to be completely negative because no game should be judged by its earliest released form. So I'll cover the negative parts and I'll try to end up with some of the more positives. First, I'd like to say it was really hard for me to enjoy this game. And there are two reasons for that, both of which lay at the developer's feet. If you've not seen my video on key bindings, then you should check it out here. I always invert my y-axis, but who inverts their x-axis?
What is mouse sensibility?
Sensibility? Does it really say that? What the crap?
I'm not even kidding.
Who looks right to look left? It made playing the game very difficult, so this may have clouded my judgment just a bit. Second, if you watched a fair amount of my gameplay videos, then you already know I almost never play solo games. I'm very much a people person, and I enjoy experiencing new games with other people. This game is advertised as a multiplayer game, however, it's not. At least, it's not yet. I know plenty of people were able to somehow get into multiplayer games, but then were faced with issues like not being able to hear their teammates, or worse, not even see them. These two things for sure have clouded my judgment on this game. So keeping that in mind, some other small issues I had with the game include things like weird translations to English. While I realize many game developers are not English speaking, having someone translate to another language for your player base is fairly typical, although some of these gaffes for sure led to some more humorous moments. Next, the gameplay is confusing. There's a lot of items and a lot of mechanics. This will leave players for sure confused and likely finding more death than success. And while I know many of you will remind me that this game is early release, there are only 3 locations. I'm sure more will come with time, but once you've seen all 3, it kind of feels like you're done. Unless more locations are added quickly, for a lot of players this will make gameplay feel stale. I hate to compare this game to Phasmophobia, but when Phas came out, it had about double the locations, and no one playing Phasmophobia from that point till now will say that it hasn't felt stale at least at some point for them. Okay, so what's good about the game? For me, it felt more complete. I always thought it was weird that in Phasmophobia we'd identify the ghost and then just leave. What's the point in knowing that your house has a demon in it? Shouldn't we be getting rid of that? In Ghost Hunters Corp, we identify our ghost and then we exorcise them. I mentioned this before, but it feels more positive than a negative. There are a lot of items in this game. Having plenty of tools to mess with and explore will certainly help keep things more interesting. One thing that was definitely interesting to me and very unexpected is that the ghost doesn't stick to the house. If you leave, the ghost will come with you. If you hide in the van, it will bang on the door till you come out or until it breaks the door down and it comes in for you. This for sure makes this game way more intense, and overall, I really like this mechanic. There's also some very interesting, unique gameplay. Locations have items that can't be seen without this special camera. Invisible items can be photographed and brought to the van for players to gain extra money. Not just invisible items, but some gameplay is very interactive. For example, the reading of this Bible passage to exorcise the ghost. Overall, I definitely like these new gameplay styles. Okay, so now that we've talked about some of the pros and the cons of this game, I will say that there are things that I hope will improve over time. One of my favorite things about Phasmophobia is the in-game sounds. All of the noises in the house, the sounds, they really add to the atmosphere and make Phasmophobia scary. Ghost Hunters Corp, its sounds are kind of subpar.
What's with the cheesy sounds?
I hope these will change with time, but they definitely don't make me feel scared. They feel a little cartoonish. And the cost of this game. I certainly didn't expect it to cost $18. Maybe I'm treating this unfairly based on the cost of other indie types like Phasmophobia, In Silence, Devour, but $18 is a lot for what we're getting, at least at this point. Phasmophobia was cheaper and it came with VR capabilities. This game feels a little shy on the content for its price. And I know a lot of you will say that this is an early access game, but that doesn't excuse anything. Lots of games are early access and have a much more finished and polished feel to them, and they come cheaper and with much more content. This shouldn't be an excuse catch-all for any game. But as I said before, no game should be judged on its first released version. So, to buy or not to buy? That is the question. Literally, it's the question. I'm not going to tell you you should or shouldn't get the game. I will say that in its current form, if you're not already sold, maybe wait till the game has fixed some of its bigger issues. Ghost Hunters Corp definitely has potential. I like some of the ideas behind the game, and I think if the developer is diligent about meeting the needs of the players, then it could definitely find some successes. But if you're not chomping at the bit for a new game at the moment, maybe wait a few weeks. See how the bugs get fixed. Does new content get released? And if some of the issues that I've mentioned here are met. If you've tried the game already, did you love it or hate it? Is the jury still out? Would you recommend it to others? What parts of the game did you enjoy the most? What were your biggest complaints? Let me know in the comments below. Thanks for watching. Remember to like and subscribe, and as always, happy hunting.